The Lord pulled me out the industry. Now the world my enemy. The Lord changed my life. Praise God that He cleansing me. Pulled me out the industry. The Lord pulled me out.
Grace and peace in Jesus' name. We're gonna get started. I hope you guys having a blessed Sabbath. And this week we're gonna be talking about this lesson is entitled "Half Devil, Half Angel," and well, part devil, part angel, or half devil, half angel. And in this section of this book that we have been reading from called Codex Magica or Magica, we have been exposing the occult practices that people or individuals do in the world. And so this week, we're gonna look at this. And let me share my screen. Share the screen. And this is kind of a short dialogue. And it's not gonna be too long. We're gonna first start off with, First Corinthians. We're gonna read First Corinthians 10. First Corinthians 10, we're gonna read 20 through 22. First Corinthians 10, 20 through 22. All right, and it states, "But I say that these things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not unto God. And I would not that ye have fellowship with devils," right? You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils, which means this title, part devil, part angel, we letting you know you can't do that. But it's people in this world that's trying to do that, whether it be the teachers of the word or the preachers or these government officials. It says, "Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and the table of devils." It says, "Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Question mark. Are we stronger than He?" And you know we not. And so we're gonna get into, we're gonna pick on a government official. We're gonna pick on Lyndon Johnson tonight. Lyndon B. Johnson. This is the guy who replaced John F. Kennedy when he got assassinated. This guy became president. And so we're gonna look at him, and we're gonna look at some Masonic symbols, and then we go also look into some words and some origins of some words, and get a further understanding on the word Senate and the word prophet. But in saying that, we're gonna first read all of this. We're gonna read this whole chapter. The chapter's not that long, and then we're gonna get into some slides, and then we're gonna get into some scriptures, and then we're gonna close out. It says, "Always front and center stood Lyndon Johnson, almost handsome then in his 40s, Leaner in history remembers narrow-eyed and his sleek hair, alert in a vaguely dangerous way, and an impresario, a genius of nuance, a wolf in his prime, which is what was being displayed, excuse me, which was being displayed in this magazine called Part Devil, Part Angel. All right, so we're gonna start off the reading. It says Illuminists can sometimes be engaged in likable people. These are talking about the people that can deceive you, whether if it's your preacher or your politician or somebody, a celebrity, or somebody that's in a high position or statue where they deal with a lot of people. It says the kind of person you wouldn't mind going to dinner with or hosting a barbecue. That is unless you knew that beneath that happy party-like veneer and surface there was a deep interior to consummate evil. Take Will Rogers, for example, a lovable Oklahoma storyteller. He is admired by the nations for his rangy and down-to-earth humor and wit, who would know that along with his fellow Masons, Roger bowed before a satanic altar and drank wine from human skulls. And we're gonna look at these people. They making reference of these guys who, or we about to be reading about being Masons, and we're gonna show you pictures of them throwing up these signs. So I'm gonna let you draw the conclusion if you wanna, say if they Masons or not. But we gonna draw the conclusion. We gonna show you that these guys is Masons, which is a satanic cult. It says there's astronauts' blood Aldrin, who is claimed by NASA, once went to the moon. How many knew that Aldrin carried with him to outer space a Scottish Rite flag in emblazoned with a diabolical image of the double-headed eagle, right? It says, let me scoot this over. Hold on a sec. It says, and we have a late Pamela Harriman. And remember these people again, because we're going to show you people. We're going to show you these same people. So popular, likable. Her biography was entitled Life of the Party. This is one of them celebrities who can be so appeal to be so loving and so caring, but at the end of the day, they trying to deceive you and get you on board with their satanic agenda. It says Harriman's husband was Haverell Harriman, patriot of the Skull and Bones. So her husband was a part of the Skull and Bones. And it says, what tales Miss Harriman could have told us? After all, she was mistress to a Rothschild and also once used a young and up-and-coming Georgetown University student as her sexual boy toy. His name is William Jeffrey Clinton. If you don't know who that is, that's Bill Clinton. It says President B. Lyndon Johnson certainly fits into that category, if there is such a category of part devil, part angel. And it's not just this guy, it's also celebrities, it's also politicians, and it's also these so-called men of God that whether they are part of the Israelite community or whatever community is preaching this word. It says a master mason raised to the third degree in a lodge in Central Texas. Johnson was primarily mover for the Black civil rights movement. And see, look at that's good, right? You see somebody, a white guy or Gentile, who had something to do with the good or equal rights and civil rights. It says his aggression endorsed of various civil rights bills helped create a more equal society. See? It says, but why do the biographers call LBJ cunning and a wolf? It says several books have been published maintaining that Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson was one of the plotters and conspirators behind the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Few people believe it, right? Most have been snookered into believing the absurd theory that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. But in 2003, a book by a former Texas lawyer, Bar McClellan, or McKellian, again broached the subject of LBJ's culpability, culpability, right? It says, then in 2013, Jeff Rents and his outstanding internet website, rents.com, published two photos of what is being called the most revealing wink of the 20th century as a public service of the Codex Magica is reproducing the same photos. But before we get more into this, we're going to read some scripture because it said by right here, it said, but why do his biographer call him cunning and a wolf? And again, we don't want to get too caught up on him being a politician. We want to be caught up of him being someone that's trying to deceive because it's the politicians, the preachers, and the celebrities. Gotta watch out because Satan using them all. It says, enter ye in the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. It says, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it, right? Because this, man, this is, this is gonna be this is a tough walk, people. It says, beware of false prophets. We're gonna get into this word prophet and we're gonna get that understanding, what is this talking about? Because from a westernized point of view, they how you thinking that this is talking about somebody that is behind a pulpit or so-called teacher in the Israelite community that you want to that can do things. We're gonna see what that actually means. It says, which comes to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are raven and wolves. And this is exactly what that guy, Lyndon B. Johnson, and not even just Lyndon B. Johnson, all the presidents, because they promise you things and say they're going to do certain things and they don't do it at all. They don't do it at all. They deceive you, get you to vote for them, I recommend you not vote anyway, because the Most High got all this control anyway. Whoever gonna be in the office, they're gonna be in the office regardless of who you voting for or what. But it said, beware false prophets, which come as you as sheep clothing, but inwardly are raven and wolves. That sounds just like the title. Part devil, part angel, right? Because they appearing to be good, but inwardly they trying to destroy you. Let's get back to the reading. Now let's see just right here. It says this heart-rendered scene abroad Air Force One of Lyndon B. Johnson being sworn in as President of the United States. Right? It says United States following the assassination of John F. Kennedy was published everywhere in the newspaper, magazine, and books. Look closely at the somber looks at the faces of the persons in the photograph. Yeah, they do kind of look kind of weird, but I don't know how you're supposed to look when somebody getting sworn into office. So let's scroll down some more. Now, this picture right here is very interesting because this is a picture that wasn't revealed to the public. And this is like one of the first times in this book that this picture was revealed. It says here the photo that was left unpublished and was kept hidden from the public view until now. Congressman Albert Thomas, which is this guy right here, said winks at a quickly smiling LBJ as he being sworn in to be the next president of the United States on Air Force One. The grief-stricken Jackie Kennedy stands next to him. Meanwhile, a sly smile across creases the face of Lady Bird Johnson, who's right here. And this is Jackie Kennedy. Lady Bird Johnson is actually LBJ's wife. And it says LBJ, he was part devil, part angel. I don't think so. He was 100% something, and I'll let you decide just what. And again, this guy was a Mason, so if he was a Freemason, he served Satan. Point blank period. And a lot of the people in the government, celebrities, and these preachers are Masons. It says Johnson and others are shown in the following pages, given what appears, excuse me, to be the luminous hand sign of the arm in triangle position with hand on side of body. It says the photo here gives evidence that this gesture is not accidental, as one might suppose. Several illustrations from authoritative Masonic references books providing further documentation, and the sign is intentional and communicates a message. And we're going to get into these reference Masonic books as well to show you that this is not a game and this stuff is real. And here go one right here. I'm going to go to it up here, which is Richardson Monitor of Freemasonry. So you got one sign where it says you place the point of a pen under your chin and draw downward to your waist as you was acting, you was ripping your body open, which is these signs are symbolic for that. Of if they speak the secrets, they're gonna get killed. But guess what? I'm not a Mason, so I have nothing to fear. Uh, I can most definitely expose them and show the wickedness that they do. And if they do try to kill me, I don't care. Uh, and you got another sign right here, which is talking about the hand on the hip, which is the candidate is now instructed to sign token and word, and basically the things that's dealing with this initiation or this ritual. Let's go back to the book. It says in the Grand Master elect of Freemasonry, the candidate pledges and he will accept severe penalties if he divulges the secrets. His hand and arm are positioned on the abdomen and then moved upward as if ripping the body open with a knife, which we just looked at, from Richardson Monitor. And the last sign, which we're going to see a lot of the guys going to be making, a lot of people who we just read about, uh, you know, this is an illustration of a Masonic manual. Demonstrates the candidate for a Sublime Knights elect degree makes a sign in which both right hand on the heart and the left hand is in a triangle pose position. Basically, the hand on the hip forming a triangle, like Lyndon Johnson is doing right here. And this is a article that came out in 1959, called Part Devil, Part Angel, right in your face. They throwing it right in your face. Right here, you see it says he was a wolf in his prime. It also called him a legislative magician. It says an article showcasing a book about rascally President Lyndon Johnson. The headline said the tutored biographical book charts Lyndon Johnson cunning rise, right? Says the caption under the photo of LBJ describes the late president as the wolf in his prime and allows him as a legislative magician. Remember, we said that. As above, we have especially interested in a clearly illuminous pose strike by Johnson, his left arm in a triangle position in which a clenched fist of socialist power. It says, no wonder this article in the News Week magazine is entitled Part Devil, Part Angel. Incidentally, the librarian of the House of the Temple of Scottish Rite, Washington, D.C., reports that Lyndon Johnson never got past the Master Mason degree. So this is a Mason. Lyndon Johnson was a Mason, and this is confirming the hand movements and the poses these guys make. Now we're going to read other lessons or other studies that's going to show you why they do these poses, because they are invoking spirits. It says, this author believes, however, that Johnson has initiated into the secret society of Order of the Freemasons, and of course he is a political mover and shaker, acting on the behalf of both Zionists and nation oil elite. You got another guy, Rockefeller. This was in the Town Country magazine. You got the standing guys, Withrow Aldrich, the chairman of Chase Bank. He doing the sign as well. It's no coincidence these guys are doing these signs. This is a congressman right here in the Time magazine. He doing it with both hands. This is Richard Griffith, which is all this stuff is symbolic. See, he's standing on a square. It's representing Freemasonry. And he's posing in one of the poses that we just went over, forming the triangle. Here was somebody else that we read. This is a CEO of Lucent Technology, Patricia Russa. She's doing it as well. This is in the USA Today, and it's no coincidence. And also notice this red kind of like halo on her head. It says that it represents the serpent and a circular Lucent Technology to be in a occultic ring or halo. Nimbus. It's right in your face, man. You got the bankers, E.H. Harriman. We was talking about these guys up top. You see, they all making the cliche hand sign. As you can see, this is what's been going on for a long time, and we got the proof. We can prove that these guys are actually worshiping Satan, which, you know, they gotta answer for that. This is Pamela Harriman, who was having, encounters with Bill Clinton in college, and she dated a Rothschild. This is one of her biographical books that was called Life of the Party, which is showing you her allegiance as well. This is the astronaut doing the same. It's not by coincidence that these people are doing these signs. It's not by coincidence. And this is him with the Scottish Rite flag, as they told you that he brought that same flag to the moon. We're not gonna get into if they really went to the moon or not. We just is gonna discuss the images of these guys that are celebrities, government officials, and preachers that get into this occult stuff. This is Robert E. Lee. Again, you see him doing the hand on his head, but see, it's not by coincidence, people. This is Will Rogers, who was that storyteller, who was making reference in the beginning of him being towards the altar, just like all the other Masons. They be at the altar, and you know these guys are likable guys, but guess what? They out to steal, kill, and destroy, just like they master. Elise Ashmole. This is a picture that's in a England museum. In an England museum, and this right here engraving it is stating honorably distinction. But this you could tell that this person is a part of the Freemasons as well. And okay, now we done with that. We're gonna get into these slides. Get into these slides again. half angel, half devil, or part devil, part angel. We about to look into these words. We're gonna look into the origins of the Senate. Information and sources. It says the Senate may have existed under a monarchy and served as an advisory council for the king, right? It says its name suggests that was ordinarily composed of elderly men, which is that's the Greek word for it, says whose age and knowledge of traditions must have been highly valued in a preliterate society. So basically, these are the experienced members of society or the wiser people, or you could say the ruling class. And I got that from the Encyclopedia Britannica under ancient Rome. So you can go look at it yourself. And the next source I got was from Encyclopedia Britannica. And this says, hold on, let me move this out of the way. This is Encyclopedia Britannica. It says is a deliberative assembly, often the upper house of the chamber or of a bicameral legislature. The names come from ancient Roman Senate, as we read up top, Latin senatus. It says so called as an assembly of the senior, meaning what? The elder or the old man. So when you see Jesus talking to the elders or speaking against the elders that was wicked, this is the government of Israel who he was talking to. This is the government. It says, and therefore consider wiser and more experienced members of society or the ruling class. So when you deal with the sentence of the government, this is modern day same word technology that they use in the Bible. If you notice, they using the same structure as the God of Israel, the same structure. It's just however the Roman Senate was not the ancestor or predecessor of the modern parliamentarism in any sense because the Roman Senate was not a legislative body, and most of them that weren't even from that area. They weren't even from that area. But let's go to this Acts 5 and 21 because this Acts 5 and 21 is going to lay some foundation on this of what we are reading and showing, even with the Bible, it can make these definitions be on point. We'll read this one verse, and it's talking about when Paul and them came to meet in the temple, and he was having a meeting. It says that when they have heard that they have entered into the temple early in the morning and taught, but the high priest came and they that were with him and called the council together, all the senate of the children, I'm sorry, all the senate. Hold on, let me go back. Let me go back. Acts, hold on. We'll say all the senate of the children of Israel. So that's talking about all the elders of the governmental body of Israel, and sent to the prison to have them bought. So we breaking down the origins of the word senate, and we can see that it derives from the ancient word of the elders or the experienced members of society or the ruling class. When you look into our society, these are your lawmakers. These are people that's enforcing the laws and stuff like that of that nature. Let's go to the next one. The origins of the word prophet. So the origins of the word prophet, it says in religion, a prophet or a prophetess is an individual who is regarded as being in contact with a divine being. And it said to speak on the behalf of that being. And you should be able to see where we're going with this now. Basically, a prophet, it says certain intermediary with the humanity by delivering messages or teachings from the supernatural source to the people. So basically, this person is coming to relay messages, just like your preacher, just like your celebrity, just like your magician that do music, uh, just like, the government official as well. They come in, they bring news as well. They deliver messages as well. And they also tell you prophecy too, with those future laws that they tell you that they're going to implement in the future. That's prophecy too as well, because they have a doctrine that they teach as well too, which is the doctrine of Baal. Hence, all government officials are prophets of Baal. But guess what? It's not limited to just only them. You got the celebrities, you got the musicians, you got the preachers, the teachers, the so-called people that's talking to you about God, right? So to the etymology of this word, it says the word prophet is a transliteration of a compound Greek word derived from pro, which is before, toward, or phasein, which means to tell thus. And the word is called prophetess, and it's someone who conveys a message from the divine to humans, including occasional foretelling future events. In a different interpretation, it means advocate or speaker. Uh-oh. Got you. That's where you get your speakers of the house from. And the question is who they speaking for, because they ain't speaking for the people. Because if they were speaking for the people, the world wouldn't be like it was. And again, as you can see, Lyndon B. Johnson, a lot of majority of these presidents be Freemasons. So if they serving Satan, guess what? They are the speaker for Satan. It says in Hebrew the word Navi, which means a spokesperson, traditionally translates as a prophet. So now we seeing that a prophet just means somebody that's telling you something, that's relaying a message. And that's why you got to be so careful to be able to discern if this is a prophet of God or if it's a prophet of Satan. You know, that should be on our prayer list. Discernment. Because you definitely need it in this day and time that we living in. It says the second subdivision of the Tanakh is devoted to his prophet, and the meaning Navi is perhaps described in Deuteronomy 18 and 18, which we about to see is matching even with the definitions. He said, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak them unto all that I shall command him. Even down to Moses. Moses was a prophet. They told you that he was going to raise a prophet up like unto Moses. And him you shall hear all the words, because he was the spokesman. Which you talking about Jesus, but in the wilderness, you see God speaking to Moses, telling him speak to the children of Israel. And guess what Moses was doing? He was relaying that message. He was that spokesperson. That's why, you got, all these politicians and you got all these, people that speaking on behalf and telling people messages or doctrine. And the whole time, you got to be able to discern if they're a prophet of Satan or not. You can go to Merriam-Webster, you can compare. This Merriam-Webster going to seal the deal. It says, one who utterly utters divine inspired revelations. So somebody dealing with the word, it says often capitalize the writer of one of the prophetic books, because yes, they did tell or foretell future events that did happen. One regarded a group basically saying that Muhammad, allegedly, which we know that he was a prophet, but he wasn't a prophet of God, he was a prophet of Satan. Uh, Two, it says, one gifted with more than the original spirit and moral insight, an inspired poet, because they are uplifting people, helping them feel good. And again, you got and the poets too, they could be used as a spokesman for Satan as well, also a spokesman for the Most High. It says one who foretells future events, predictor. You could put that on military people. You could put that on pretty much anybody that's telling you something's going to happen in the future or trying to predict a future event. It says an effective or leading spokesperson for a cause. There you go, your government officials, your preachers. It says doctrine or a group. The politicians got doctrines. That's why so many people indoctrinated in lies. They pay so much money to get the school systems to teach what they want them to teach, just to indoctrinate the masses. That's tough. Um, that's it with that. Um, let me see. Let me see. Go back to the slides. So we see basically the Senate is another word for elders. So when you look at the government officials or the Senate that's in the government, we know that's the higher society of people or the higher class or the people that they quote unquote are saying is the experienced citizens, I guess. And then they come to you, they speak these laws, they speak into them. Remember, we seen one of the first definitions of that is you know, somebody that's getting information from a divine being and they come in to speak on their behalf, which is showing you the key. You need discernment to be able to tell if that individual is coming from God or they are coming from Satan. Now let's just get into some scripture readings. We're gonna start at this is like the end right here because this lesson is real short. We're gonna go to Ezekiel. We're gonna start at Ephesians 6, because this is what matters. Ephesians 6 is how we need to start this off anyway. Ephesians 6. Put on the whole armor of God that ye may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. Because, we on this journey, we exposing the masons, we exposing the government, we exposing all these occult practices, and you're gonna need to be ready for this because this is a game that can get you killed. Because it say what? Verse 2 said, for we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, and against rulers of the darkness of this world, against the spiritual wickedness in high places, them masons, them rulers, and them evil angels that's behind them. Skip down to verse 15. It says, and your feet, no, I'm sorry, verse 14. It said, stand therefore with your loins girded in truth. That's why last week we was exposing a lot of the occult practices um, in the world. And we gonna even go into deeper detail for some of the ones that we was exposing last week, just to help people out even more, to give them that assurance that this is the truth. It says, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, because once you know that, man, this is it, you gotta stand 10 toes in it and continue to walk in righteousness. So then your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. You gotta be prepared for anything the devil can throw your way. It says, above all, take ye the shield of faith, wherein ye shall be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked. Because you gonna have some people that's gonna be coming along, stringing along, trying to take this away from you, trying to convince you that this ain't true. I'm telling you, these wicked masons, man, they, gotta watch out for them. Let's go to Proverbs 3, because I'm showing you, no matter if I'm gonna keep reading, I'm sorry. Um, it says, I'm gonna skip down to verse 22 though. No, 20. It says, for I am an ambassador in bonds, that there I shall speak boldly as I ought to speak. Because we gonna speak boldly. We gonna speak against these wicked occult powers that's trying to take over and make sure the kingdom of God don't be into fruition. Verse 22, it says, whom I have sent unto you for the same purpose, that ye might know our affairs, and that he might comfort your hearts. But that ye also may know our affairs, as I know Titus and beloved and fearless ministers in the Lord shall make known to you all things. 19. And as for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. Because we gonna speak this truth. We gonna let you know that a lot of these people's doing Masonic hand signs, Masonic positions, Masonic gestures. We exposing these wicked followers of Satan. Let's go to Proverbs. Go to Proverbs 13 now. Proverbs 13. We're gonna read verse 17. It says, "A wicked messenger falleth into mischief, but a faithful ambassador is health." You speaking, you being that spokesman for Satan, you're gonna fall right into mischief. But if you speaking truth and you being the Lord's ambassador, you being his representative, you speaking his words, guess what? All you gonna get is health. That's all. But see, you can't believe everything that people say, man. Let's go to First John. Go to what is it? First John 4. First John 4. We're gonna read verses. Start at verse 1. Say, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone into the world." So we know that many false people that's speaking, many false speakers. You cannot have the Western mindset thinking that this is talking about somebody in the pulpit or a quote unquote teacher. No, it's talking about a variety of people. It's talking about the politicians. It's talking about the celebrities. It's talking about these wicked hip hop artists. It's talking about, you know, all of these people that are speaking. Because you have to ask the question, who are they speaking for? Because remember, we seen a prophet, they speak with a divine being, and then they relate a message to the people. Hereby know ye the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is of God. And when you deal with that scripture, when they say they confessing it, that's because they showing it with their actions. They doing more than lip service. That's talking about with their actions, because you gonna know that Jesus Christ came in the flesh because their actions gonna show. And it says, "In every spirit that confesses not that Jesus is come in the flesh, it's not of God, and is the spirit of Antichrist, where ye have heard that it should come, and even now it's already in the world." So even in the world back then in John's day, it was in the world. The Antichrist is not no individual. It's not no pope. It's not no, he is a antichrist, but there are many antichrists that are there in the world. It was in the world even in his day. It says, "Ye are children of God, little children, and have overcome them, because what? Greater is he that is in you than is he that is in the world." You don't have Satan, and you got the most high in you. So that all that discernment and figuring out what's going on, and say don't believe everything that's being said. Even me, check behind me. This stuff that I'm bringing out, check behind me. Let's go to Revelations 3, because we got to speak boldly against these people, man. The scriptures say we got to speak boldly and reveal the mysteries of the gospel. Because guess what? The keys of knowledge been taken away by these fake ministers of Baal. A lot of them are ministers of Baal, man, and that's why we exposing it. We exposing them. Another thing too that these wicked Israelites want to confuse. Revelation 3 and 9 say, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, but are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I love thee." And they'll tell you that it's the so-called Jewish people that call themselves Jews today. And it's not talking about them. It's not talking about them at all. Because during that time, Jesus didn't have no really big issues with them. He had issues with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, who were of the seed of Abraham, who were the seed of Israel, their father or forefather. That's who the problem was with. But guess what? He said, behold, I come quickly, verse 11. He said, hold that fast which thou hast. So, you know, that no man take your crown, because a lot of these spokesmen out here, you know, you got to be able to pinpoint if they're a man of God or they're a man of Satan. It's very important. And you got politicians deceiving people, having people, they talking all good stuff, yada yada, what they gonna do, and how if you vote for them, it's gonna be the best thing that ever happened to you. But guess what? You see, there ain't nothing changed. And it's just been the same thing going on since the beginning of time. They talk that good talk, they get in the office, and guess what? Same thing. Let me see. Verse 16. Let me see. No matter of fact, I'm gonna go to verse 15. He said, I know thy works that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou be cold or hot. Because you can't be no part angel, half demon, or part angel, part devil. No, it's no in between. It's no cold or hot. He said, so then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold or hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because if it ain't no, I'm gonna do this one. Oh, I'm gonna keep Thanksgiving now, but I'm after Thanksgiving, I'm gonna talk about everybody that's keeping Christmas. Both of them are pagan. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said into the churches. Gotta listen up, people. Let's go to Matthew 6. Because you can see the orders of these words from the Western mindset. You let people tell you that you ain't gotta know Greek and Hebrew, but you taking the definition from a Western mindset and you thinking that a prophet is somebody that's in the pulpit or somebody that's telling the future. You know, you ain't even putting it into modern day terminology with what we got going on now every day. These politicians, they tell you future laws that's going to be implemented in the world. What it say? Ye says no man can serve two masters, for either you will love the one, but I'm sorry, either you will hate the one and love the other, or he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot. I don't care what. I'm keep pressing the issue. Is no such thing as part devil, part angel. So all these politicians and these preachers and it ain't no such thing as that. And we exposing you. Doing these hand signs and showing your allegiance to Satan. We own to you. Let's go to Jeremiah 12. Jeremiah 12. Because the Lord always had a problem with these false speakers that want to come and speak vanity, and he ain't even sent them. Because you know why? You a prophet of Baal. Yeah, that's why. It says, for brethren, it says, for even thy brethren and thy house of thy fathers, even they have dealt treacherously with thee. Yeah, they have called a multitude after thee. Believe them not, though they speak fair words unto thee. That sound like that lukewarm right there. What we've been reading. These people who are portraying to be good. The only way you're gonna find out is watching their actions, watching their body movement. They do certain Masonic hand signs, and guess what? We're gonna expose more and more and more and more. It says, I have forsaken my house, I have left my inheritance, I have give my dearly beloved of my soul into a land of her enemies. My heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It cries out against me. Therefore, I've hated it. And so he's showing you acting in that lukewarm way. You dealing treacherously, but then you trying to speak fair words like you just man of God, he gonna get you. He gonna get you. He gonna definitely get you. It says, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird, and the bird round about against her come ye, all assemble the beasts of the field to devour her. But why she getting devoured? Because she was dealing treacherously and trying to be lukewarm. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out with the Lord. No, that can't happen. Let's go back to the slide so we can recap. That was the scriptures. So we see that the study of the word prophet, it derives from a spokesperson, a speaker, or advocate. It can either be a motivational speaker as well. And that's any person. So when you look at the word prophet, it's not literally, it's everything that happens, it has a motive or a being that is influencing it, whether if it's Satan or whether if it's God. That's our job to determine who it is. And so when we look at the orders of the word Senate, and we also seen it that derived from the elders and the higher people in society or the ruling class. So now when we see Jesus, calling out the Pharisees and stuff like that, we can see that, he was calling out the upper people of the government. So if we're supposed to follow Christ, we got to call these people out for the wicked, Masonic, Satan worshipers that they are. And we're going to end it with this last script. Ecclesiastes 12, and then 13 through 14. It said, let us to the conclusion of the whole matter, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring forth every work into judgment, every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Guess what? The Lord going to use me to reveal it, to expose these fake ministers or these people that trying to deceive the people while they pledging allegiance to Satan right in front of your faces. This is the reading of part devil, part angel, with the scriptures showing the modern day terminology for prophet and Senate. I hope you have some understanding in Jesus' name, and I hope you guys have a good night.
Yeah, I woke up this morning. Yeah, I woke up this morning, I thank the Lord. Yeah, he died for my sins, I thank the Lord. I got power over Satan, I thank the Lord. Yeah, he gave me a spirit, I thank the Lord. I be casting out demons, I thank the Lord. He the Passover lamb without spot sin. Keep his word until to the end. My living ain't gon' make again. Jesus Christ, he is the righteous. Fight a good fight, you better keep fighting. You open them doors, that no man can close. The angels are with us, we never alone. Worship the Father, the Spirit and truth. Worship the Father, the Spirit and truth. Worship the Father, the Spirit and truth. My old way of living ain't gon' make again. My old way of living ain't gon' make again. Yeah, I woke up this morning, I thank the Lord. Yeah, he died for my sins, I thank the Lord. I got power over Satan, I thank the Lord. Yeah, he gave me a spirit, I thank the Lord.